So with the end of credits scene in Rainbow Rocks showing another Twilight Sparkle and Spike in the human world, the makings of another Equestria Girls movie seem pretty solid. And though I'm sure the DHX staff will continue to hone their impressive talents in future films, today I would also like to discuss possibilities surrounding a new TV series revolving around these characters. Back in April, we were given the first hint of Equestria Academy, with a tentative release date in November 2014. However, whether this will actually happen remains to be seen. I mean, you'd think that Hasbro would be promoting this sort of thing everywhere they could. Though I was rather skeptical about whether an MLP spin-off series would hold much of my attention, Rainbow Rocks has proven just how enjoyable these characters can be, even in a high school setting. Fantasy elements are continuing to make their way into the human world, and as long as the writers keep that up, I think there is more potential with this series than I had initially thought. But what sort of stories could the MLP staff bring to the table here? What other elements could they introduce to make such a spin-off series work in the long run? Well, let's talk about this otherworld Twilight Sparkle for a bit. We could assume that she is very much like how the Twilight Sparkle of Equestria was back before the G4 series began. Obsessed with research, very much a loner, and having no interest in developing a friendship with any of the humanized main six. So would reintroducing that same story element in the next Equestria Girls film or Equestria Academy work just as well here? Yeah, it could make for some good conflicts early on, but I feel that the writers will have to tweak that idea just a bit so that we aren't seeing quite as much of a repeat from Season 1 of MLP. For example, I could see a lot of potential with all these different characters from Canterlot High expecting Twilight to be just like her equestrian counterpart, even mistaking her as being the same person early on. And yes, it wouldn't surprise me that there would be more than a few similarities in both personality and conviction. But I'm actually hoping that if the writers use this angle, that the human world Twilight Sparkle should not be the exact same as the Twilight Sparkle we've grown to enjoy from the G4 series. I think there could be a lot of potential for all of the characters involved to learn about not allowing their expectations to get the better of them, and that by itself could make for some good conflict. However, we still need to add some external struggles to keep things interesting. And with more fantasy elements encroaching on the human world, the possibilities are endless. Now, if we wanted to make things more complicated, we could have regular people stumbling upon magical artifacts, creating all kinds of mischief, or have humans stumble upon the world of Equestria, now that there seems to be a more permanent gateway. However, I believe there are some previous elements that could be reintroduced for future stories. For example, the Sirens were banished to the human world back during the time of Starswirl the Bearded. Now, we have no way of knowing how the passage of time differs between these worlds, but I think it is clear that these three have a very long lifespan. I've also seen others question why Starswirl would have banished these Sirens to the human world if he knew how dangerous they were. Well, allow me to pose a question. What if Starswirl believed that they really couldn't have posed any kind of threat while in another world? We do see that these artifacts they carried were how they could obtain power from others. Are we sure that these amulets came from Equestria? Is it possible that these Sirens found a way to construct these magical gems after they had been banished? And if that is the case, what's to stop these three from creating more of them? I may not have been all that interested in these villains as characters, but I can certainly see possibilities with them creating future conflicts. One more thing I'd like to touch on today is the fact that so many characters from the pony world also seem to have an alter ego in the human world. If this is indeed the case, could there be an alternate world Sunset Shimmer as well? How about a Shining Armor and Cadence? Or perhaps Chrysalis? Somber? Discord? There could be a lot of story potential with any of these characters meeting their alter egos. I'd be especially curious to see how well the writers could handle a movie focused around a comedy of errors sort of setup. Have members of the main six visit each other's worlds, where all these doubles are constantly creating troublesome situations for each other with a lot of comedic potential thrown in. The writers have a fantastic opportunity for this kind of story. But even if that didn't end up happening, I would enjoy seeing someone write that kind of story on FimFiction. Let me know. In the meantime, though, I would like to hear from each of you. A third film in the Equestria Girls series seems like almost a sure thing at this point. But what about this possible TV series? Would you want the writers to expand upon the Equestria Girls universe? What do you think might happen with this new Twilight Sparkle? Can you come up with any story possibilities for these characters? I would like to hear your thoughts about the future of Equestria Girls, and here's looking forward to the next set of ideas that the MLP staff comes up with. I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.